Hello, my name is Will Dobud, and I'm excited to share with you a little bit about my new book, Kids These Days, Understanding and Supporting Youth Mental Health, which I co-authored with researcher, educator, and counselor, Professor Nevin Harper. Nevin and I started thinking about the Kids These Days book while we were at a conference in Norway a few years ago. We found ourselves asking each other, how is it possible that we have more therapists, educators, doctors, experts, and influencers, for example, than ever before? We've also created more types of therapy, there's more medications, more mental illness labels, and we've all survived the decade of the parenting manual where we have more parenting books than ever. Still, every headline seems to suggest that youth mental health is in crisis mode. This didn't quite add up for us, and we wanted to ask what's really going on. Just about every health-related indicator is headed in the right direction. Compare the longevity of life today to what it was 50 years ago. If we look at dentistry, think about dentistry practices from 50 years ago and compare them to what we have today. So our research for the book began with talking to the experts. We spoke with Dr. Gordon Neufeld, Dr. Mari Swingle, Dr. Michael Unger, among many others that you'll meet throughout the book. All we asked was, hey, what's going on with kids these days? And their answers provided much more depth, nuance, and a lot of unconsidered possibilities that we weren't seeing on the news or what was making its way onto the social media algorithms. To position all of this, we started the book with this idea of the kids these days effect. This is how every generation bemoans the next for being more lazy, more fragile, more disrespectful, and then this goes on and on. This is how our parents talked about us, how their parents talked about them. We could trace this back to the days of the Greek philosopher Socrates, who also bemoaned young people for being disrespectful and lacking respect for authority. Now that was 2,400 years ago. The difference today is that we have played along with this myth that everything that's wrong with kids these days is in between the ears. So we've put considerable effort into classifying, labeling, pathologizing, and medicalizing youth distress. And this is what we've grown to call the mental health industrial complex. Now, most youth mental health books and parenting books tend to center on one factor or another, such as social media or overprotection. Nevin and I instead wrote that Kids These Days is a scan of youth mental health from 40,000 feet. And we cover a range of topics from how to improve social connection with your child, how to create environments and emotional playgrounds where kids can take risks and feel big feelings. We also look at what can parents do to help their child get the most when they go to a therapist or when medication is put on the table. We also talk about, yes, social media, but we talk about it based on what are the environments that we're constructing for young people to grow up in. Remember, no young person creates the environments where they spend most of their time. These are usually always put together by adults, which means we could not have an exhaustive look at youth mental health from 40,000 feet without looking at corporate interests and the environmental toxins all around us. Our book avoids a sensationalist approach. We tried not to be divisive, and we wanted people to come together in the efforts to help kids. To do this, we tried our best to present the research in an approachable way, keeping only the public interest in mind. We wanted the reader to get fired up, just as we were, about helping children, teens, and young adults embark on this adventure of adolescence. Ultimately, this book is about locating the positive deviance. Yes, many youth are struggling today. Yet, we still might find answers in the little things that are headed in the right direction. It's all about what we choose to notice. We argue that we need to find a better balance while we all live on planet mental health. And that will help us all in helping kids these days.